Welcome to Tennis Spin, where we put our spin on your tennis. Today, question from viewer Eric Leong about string wear, snapback, dead strings. Stay tuned. All right, this question comes from our Buy Me a Coffee fan, Eric Leong. And Eric writes, I'm a huge fan of Tennis Spin. I watch and rewatch your videos to dial in the tech for my two daughters, who's 9.5 and 11.5 years old. The issue, I'm running Head Velocity MLT at 44 pounds for them. After 4 to 5 hours, the color coding wears off and the strings completely lock up. So question for the mailbag. 1, technical death. Once these multis lock and lose their snapback, are they effectively dead? Does this make the launch angle too unpredictable or for a developing player? So that was 1. 2, hybrid fix. Would a hybrid of Dynawire mains and velocity cross keep the bed sliding longer without stiffness of a poly? 3, the cutout point. How do parents identify the sweet spot to cut strings out before they actually snap? I know a lot of parents are watching your channel to learn this stuff. I'd love your no-nonsense take. All the best, Eric. Okay, well, that's a very, very technical question. My guess is you're an engineer, or
it's a
something.
Series of questions.
Yes.
It's a series of questions.
So let's tackle this first with the number 1. So once the multis lock and lose their snapback, are they effectively dead? Does this make the launch angle too unpredictable for a developing player? So that's the first question. I have Perry with me today.
Howdy.
And since we have a combined 60 years of knowledge in a shop, we're hopefully going to be able to, give you a no-nonsense answer to this. So when you notch the strings and they don't snap back anymore, is it dead?
Short answer for me, no.
Okay.
I think what's happening is you're equating the characteristics of a polyester string in terms of snapback. That's a relatively new term in tennis jargon. That's more specific to polyester strings and how they play. And with multifilaments, they're not known to snap back. I don't know how far back you are in tennis, but there's these things we used to sell called stringalings.
Yes.
For natural gut or multifilament string users that would lock the strings in place.
Right.
So why would you do that? Well, because we wanted to extend the life of the string.
Right.
So that tells me that, multifilaments like velocity are not meant to be snapping back in place because that's not the nature of the string.
Got it. Now, what about the discoloration of it?
So that's
the wear.
That's
wear
just
of the
general
coating.
wear of the coating itself. But with multifilaments, if you think about it, it's a lot of little strands woven together. I've seen string jobs where it's down to the last few little threads and it's still hanging on and it's still amazingly playable. What these multifilaments are about are elasticity.
Right.
Its ability to stretch and return, stretch and return.
Right.
And that's what gives you the power, the comfort level, the pocketing, all the things that polyesters don't do.
Right.
So I think we have to kind of distinguish the characteristics of one style of string from another. And the thought of, well, does a multifilament have snapback properties? Not really. It's not the nature of the string. At least that's my opinion. What do you think about that?
I feel like strings like Velocity, because of their slicker coating, will provide a little bit of snapback. I mean, in the beginning.
Correct.
So I understand what the question is, because they, after you whack off that coating, it just kind of stays there versus kind of sliding back. But to your point, a multi is going to absorb a little bit more this way versus sliding this way over time. So once you notch that string, I do understand the irritation of, oh, it's just going to stay there. And then you just have to crack them back.
Right.
So there is no more snap left too.
Right.
So the snap that you would have gotten on a fresh string bed is kind of gone.
Yeah.
So I understand that part of the deadness. I mean,
but I don't think the string itself is dead per se. I mean, that's the beauty of a multifilament,
Right.
is as it wears and plays, it just naturally stretches and stretches more. You gain power, but you lose some control. But in terms of playability, it's still very comfortable. If anything, it becomes more comfortable. You get a little more juice out of it, so to speak.
Right.
But I guess depending on what you're trying to achieve, with today's modern game, it's all about spin generation.
Right. Right.
And multifilaments by nature are not meant necessarily. It's not their bread and butter.
Right.
To do that, and that's why polyesters are so popular, because by nature the material allows for the strings to move and snap back.
Right. So, I mean, I guess our suggestion, if that's annoying to you, would be, I mean, since they're 9.5 and 11.5, maybe string it a little more often. I mean, I hate to say that to people, but if snap is what you want and they're that young, we kind of have to, if you want to snap from a multi, we're probably going to have to string it more often to get the snap from the multi, though.
Yeah, and caveat to that is also with polyesters. I think one misconception is because polyester by nature, it's a monofilament and it's a much more durable string per se. In terms of its playability half-life, though, it's quite short. Polyester, unlike multifilament, does not have elasticity.
Right.
So once it loses tension, which it does pretty quickly, it just bottoms out.
So he also asked, does this make the launch angle too unpredictable for a developing player? I mean, once it notches, I feel like the snap is gone. The little snap that it had is gone. So
Yeah.
I would say probably yes.
Yeah.
I mean, when you and I were growing up, it was either multi, nylon, or gut.
Yeah.
And I mean, we're so spoiled these days with all these strings. Back in that day,
That's right.
we never really talked about this kind of thing. We just
No.
hit it flat or with spin, and there's, it's not like the crazy spin that there is today.
Right.
But it was annoying when you hit it and you hear crack. And it's and it stayed there, and you're like, once you're done with the rally, the strings are like far apart.
Right. Well, if you watch old videos of like matches from 20 years ago before polyester, or 20, 30 years ago before poly, you'd watch players in between constantly adjusting their strings. That's all gone because you don't have to do that with polyester. And that's the beauty of the string, because it's so slick by nature.
Yeah. So I would say yes, it does affect the launch angle, because if your strings are that far apart and you hit that same spot again, something's going to affect the ball's spin.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, and just general trajectory, and then as the string is wearing, if you're losing that coloration from the string,
Right.
then you know that it's stretching more, so it's going to naturally launch probably further and farther away, and it's going to act more like a trampoline.
Exactly. Now the hybrid fix, would hybrid of Dynawire mains and Velocity Cross keep the bed sliding longer without the stiffness of a poly?
So that's a Yonex
Synthetic gut.
monofilament synthetic gut,
Yeah.
a more basic, type of string. Strings up firmer than, say, a multi.
Yeah, but the Dynawire will go dead before the velocity, though. I don't think that's a right fix.
No, unfortunately, I think if snapback and spin generation is kind of what the goal is here, then you would have to probably entertain a hybrid with a poly as one of the components.
Yeah, that would not be the fix. I guess my advice to you would be just keep the velocity.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like for the 11-and-a-half-year-old, you're really close, if not there, to putting them into a soft poly main. And I would suggest, Polytor Pro in its thinnest form, Torbite 20, Torbite 19.
Hyper G,
Yeah,
soft,
something super
18
soft. You're stringing at a low tension already, which is great. 44 pounds is wonderful for that stuff.
Yeah.
Um,
Confidential soft, Mach 10.
Something, yeah, just way on the softer side, and then keep the velocity cross just to quiet it down.
Yeah.
And the last question is the cutout. How do parents identify the sweet spot to cut strings out before they actually snap? I know lots of parents are watching. Yeah, so so that's the thing. You kind of have to gauge your kid. As they get bigger and stronger, the strings are going to break faster. I would say keep track of how long it takes for them to break the strings
on
in
average.
Hours.
Yeah.
Hours, not days. So ask your kid, if you're not there, how many hours did you play today? And then keep track of every day. And if it's on the third day, it may be on the 6th hour or the 7th hour. And then try to maybe cut it out right before then. So like the 5-hour mark, the 6-hour mark. And as they get better and, bigger, it's going to be shorter and shorter. So therefore the string changes kind of come into play now. And that's when you want to go thicker or soft poly on the main.
Yeah,
right?
Agreed. And I think a lot of it also is how vested are the parents in terms of how much are they wanting to restring their kids' rackets consistently. I know of several parents that have actually gone out and bought their own stringing machine.
Yeah, that's a worthy investment.
For sure. And they put in the time to, learn just, how to basically string that particular racket.
Totally.
Makes sense. But as a parent, are you willing to invest that time? And otherwise, you're going to be spending for each string job. I mean, you can save a little by, say, buying reels of particular strings to cost cut a little bit there. But that's part of you have to pay to play.
Well, I feel like it's a great idea. I mean, teach the kids how to do it. They can do it themselves. Yes. I mean, then you can do it whenever you want to do it. Not have to drop it off and be on somebody else's time, and depending on how much the workload is over there. So I feel like that's a worthy investment. If you're gonna be this technical and your kids are maybe that particular about strings, that's a great investment.
Yeah, that's another question too. How sensitive are they to tension loss? How sensitive are they to varying launch, so to speak? I mean, ultimately the strings can do so much, but a lot of it is also the player, the technique.
Right.
So that's another consideration.
I guess in conclusion, our advice to you is for both of them, for the 11-and-a-half-year-old, I would say stick with what you got for now. I mean, I feel like you're 6 months to a year away from getting into a multi, depending on how big they are and how their arm feels right now.
As far as a polyester.
Yeah, as far as changing into a polyester main. For the 9-and-a-half-year-old, you just stick with what you got. Just go with velocity and stick with what you got.
Agreed.
Yeah, thank you for the technical question, Eric Leong, and thank you for the coffee.
Thank you very much
today.
Yeah, appreciate it.
All right. Oh, wait, here, let's do that.
Cheers.
Cheers. All right, guys. Thank you for watching Tennis Spin, where we put our spin on your tennis.
That good.
That was smooth.